Hi, this is Tad Baker, Director and Master of Ceremonies for the Loon Show in San Francisco. I'd like to give you a little background on the recordings you're about to hear. In the fall of 1990, along with my friend and colleague Ken Kunst, I had the really good fortune to be able to sit down with Demetrius Toteras and record his thoughts on what he called the art of living. Our discussions took place at his home in Sonoma County. Now, I had known Toteras since meeting him many years ago and falling under his powerful influence, becoming his principal student and admirer, and together we brought true absurdity to the stages of San Francisco like no one had ever seen before. Now, while Toteras was perhaps the most outrageous, if unrecognized, experimental theater director of the 20th century, he clearly was also one of the most well-read and articulate philosophical minds of his era. And he had an amazing knack for articulating some of the most critical concepts about how to live your life with dignity, grace, and a sense of ethics that I have ever heard. Experiencing my own set of personal issues at the time, both Kunst and myself brought our myriad troubles to this man, and we knew he would deliver. And boy, did he. Our conversations were always casual and informal, a few friends just picking up where we last left off. And the talk would be fueled by copious amounts of Northern California indica, which he dearly loved. Once I would arrive with my load of personal issues, Toteras would immediately launch into that day's particular theme, ranging far and wide as he digressed, but with an uncanny ability to bring himself back to his main point with an ease and fluidity I found remarkable. These sessions were, of course, aimed at unraveling our tangled personal lives, but in hearing them again recently, I realized the general appeal and great value his words would have for many people, both men and women. Toteras gave us the confidence and the intellectual tools to be able to understand and then make the changes that were necessary to gain control of our relationships, as best as that is possible. And I feel his insights can touch you where you may most need them. Now, I do advise, however, the ingestion of strong marijuana as you listen to these recordings, for good marijuana will bring your personal issues to life within you and make clear whatever changes you know you must make, though that, of course, is a matter of personal choice. And there is no set linear order to what you will hear, just the wandering observations, insights, and intuitions of one of the most profound and important minds of our era. Here, then, in his own words, is the master, Demetrius Toteras.
I mean, men and women have got to stop lying to each other.
I think it's the best thing in the world. They continue. I think what's necessary is that they develop the lies into some form of art form as opposed to what they are now. I mean, they're very. The problem I think with lying is that it hasn't caught up with the imaginative abilities of what's capable. I think lying is a wonderful art. The government uses it. Everybody's using it. Misinformation is. Lying is an art. The stuff you get in your junk mail, it costs fortunes to get this stuff written up by very highly talented copywriters. An ordinary junk mail package might bring a writer $30, $40, $50,000 putting it together. So lying, I don't think the word lying is the right kind of word. You use the word duplicity. Duplicity. At one time, duplicity was a two-facedness that was betrayal. You had to have, like Judas Iscariot, he was duplicitous in order to be able to betray Jesus Christ. I mean, duplicity and betrayal are now. If you could take duplicity and disengage it. Diffuse it, take the bad connotation out of it, make it something that one would be proud to say, I'm proud to be duplicitous, an important feeling to modern man. Because the duplicitous man in modern time was like the duplicitous man in the Greek tragedy. There was nothing wrong with a duplicitous man in the Greek tragedy. He he fooled the crowd, didn't he? One person played 4 or 5 different roles. That was duplicitous, but the crowd accepted that form of duplicity.
I see
What
you're
it
saying.
couldn't accept was that kind of duplicity that Clytemnestra had, or the duplicity that Helen had, or that kind of duplicity. The crowd didn't like that kind of duplicity. That was a duplicity that brought about betrayal, right?
Okay.
Huh? You see the difference? And one duplicity is theatrical, where it's accepted as theatrically it's excellent to be duplicitous, to be two-faced. The sign of drama is the sign of tragedy and the sign of comedy.
But in the relationships
Two-faced.
in the relationships of men and women, that duplicity forms betrayals.
Yeah, it's based on hatred more than playfulness. If they were playful about it.
That's really interesting. What you're saying is that what we're doing anyway, we should be open and honest about, and learn to use it. This thing.
Yeah.
As a tool instead of as a psychological condition that needs to be
Well,
corrected.
because everyone who is duplicitous nowadays is called a liar, or he goes and he has these various mental disorders that he goes and gets reconditioned for. But you're saying that we should exchange duplicities with each other freely.
Oh, it's an art form. Oh, it's an art form. Yeah, it's a. The more duplicitous you are, the better your activities are. I mean, the examination of some of the past rulers in history reveals to us, that the more duplicitous the king was, Machiavelli recommends strong dosage of duplicity for the prince. Many people have advocated duplicity as being the highest mark of excellence.
But then there's, of course, the duplicitous activity that's taking place. So
Well,
are we-
duplicitous and diplomatic, they both have to do with, in Greek it's more easily understood, the word diplomat as being duplicitous as opposed to duplicity being some cardinal sin,
Oh, okay. Okay, used as a tool, or as opposed to a sin.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
yeah. A career diplomat is by his very nature very diplomatic. He has a diplomatic language. But the diplomatic language by its very nature, what it means, diplomatic, it means two, it's folded in two.
Ah, okay.
Duplicitous is the same thing. It has to do with two. It has to do with some form of dissimulation, somebody who's very crazy can sit and, like that guy that was talking to me in French. There wasn't one French word in the whole vocabulary, but it all sounded French. He had the right accents, the right accents to somebody who didn't know French. It sounded French to me, just the way you say, oh, that's crazy, but in the American films, to portray the Germans, the guy would talk English with a German accent, then it was German, right? Or if it was Japanese, he would speak English. And then somebody decided, well, why don't you let them speak Japanese and we'll just put on the bottom and make it more authentic, People wanted more authenticity in the film.
Right. I think people nowadays want even more authenticity.
You know how they know how much authenticity the crowd wants? What degree they want? How do you think they know that?
I couldn't venture a guess. I don't
By the amount of people that go to see it. Well, they study the market. Like, we produce a certain kind of film, and they starting to look now. Like Costner did this fucking film now about the American Indians, where the wolves howl or some fucking thing like that. And everybody told him, man, you're gonna fuck up, that's not the thing to do, but I didn't see the film, but I read about it, and he portrayed the Indian situation from another point of view. And, hey man, they're storming the box office to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happened is the crowd has changed, man, to that truth. I mean, people, let me tell you this, man. When I'm talking about duplicity, Like, I've worked all this argument out. I'm not developing this argument now. You understand? This argument of duplicity, I've got it all worked out. I got a big essay on it. So the whole argument is worked out. I know I'm not inventing the argument now.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
Yeah. So, okay, the times have changed to this. Like, they want to know the mechanisms. They want to know the mechanisms of what duplicity. What are we talking about? What's lying? Let's say, for instance, you're married with a woman, right? You're married with a woman, and all of a sudden, you both decide to have an affair, but not with other people, but with other identities, other imaginations. So she becomes a woman who she leaves. She lives somewhere else, and she comes to visit you from her house. She's married now with another man. I mean, a whole theater has been set up.
Wait, and she's your wife, and yet you play the part of she comes in as another man's wife.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how wonderful.
You see, the duplicity is taking place between them, isn't it?
Yes, they're allowing for the duplicity.
Yeah, it becomes a tool, an activity of their lives. It becomes a way to enrich their lives, to give their lives more zest. You have to be able to go over the chasms when you love someone in modern times. You want to have a thrill. You want to skydive with them. You want to ride on the beaches with dashing wild horses. You want to leave your hair flowing in the surf. You want to be skiing down these steep mountains. Everything is that way. Everything is that feeling of the elevator,
The elevator.
The elevator.
yeah, man, that kind of, that feeling of falling, that exhilaration of looking over the side of a cliff, the exhilaration of looking out the airplane window. Yes, like I said, skydiving, diving out. A lot of women tell me that they go skydiving. Somehow, I asked them, do they urinate? Most of them said that they were wet. They were wet, from
skydiving?
the exhilaration, man.
Ah.
Oh yeah, the exhilaration. It's almost, some kind of prenatal stimulation. They just, which is, falling. Goddamn it, how many feet a second you fall? God, I mean, that's Jesus Christ. They'll give you such anxiety attacks.
Woo!
That's really a charge,
Yeah.
I imagine that is.
Oh, sure. Go out. Just looking, you go up to a tall building and look down. How'd you like to jump, right? Anyway, this kind of activity, you see, people need this. People need this kind of exhilaration now. They need to be really cranked up, speeded up. They need that kind of a fast-paced thing. They don't want to go out and look around with other people. That takes a lot of time. A lot of AIDS and all that shit. So what's necessary is, hey man, listen. I hit upon it, man. What's necessary is that they have instructions on how to be able to change their personalities with each other. How to exchange their personalities, how to put on a different personality, how to have people come over and coach them even if they have to, to put on a different thing. She puts a wig on. They go to a bar. They meet. They go through the whole fucking ritual. He says, "Can I take you home?" She says, "No." She says, "I'm married." And that the whole fucking thing goes on like that. If they could be doing this once a month, and then they could face each other in reality and say, "You really enjoy cheating on me, don't you?" And he says, "Yes, I do." He says, "I really do. I get so turned on with it." And then she asked him, they're on another level now. Then she asked him, "Well, how did it feel fucking this strange woman," which was in actuality herself? Wow. This is bizarre. This is like a play with multiple mirrors, don't you see?
Wow, yes, I do.
This is the level Toteras works on, man. This is the kind of level we work on. That kind of exercise.
That's beautiful.
Oh, it is.
Man,
That's the way
that
we
really
think,
is.
though. That's the way we think. the only reason you're enjoying it is just because you realize you think that way too. Yeah, that's right. Sure, it's a multitude. You see, of possibilities that come and go.
It's
and
very,
sway.
it's in a very efficient multitude
Yeah,
of possibilities. It's working. The problem with out there fucking randomly in the streets are AIDS and all the
Oh,
possibilities and problems. This way, it's a world that you're able to, you have controls you built into it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
'cause
And yet certain freedoms, more freedoms by working out things with this same person.
Can you see doing a book on that?
Are men and women ready to accept that duplicity with each other?
No, not. Whether they're ready to accept the argument or are they already there and merely need the argument to
To explain what they're doing.
to their modern explanation.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, what are you, what part?
You know, I mean, is it something that is before us, that we're looking down the road in 20, 30, 50 years before they can take place? Are the conditions here now?
See, the way it is now, man, like they figure on them advertisements and copies they send, junk mail. Them copywriters figure that they have 4 seconds to get your attention. The people in vaudeville used to know that they had 6 seconds to get your attention, and that was, that was a person on the stage. So to grasp somebody's attention is very difficult. Matter of fact, now, to grab somebody's attention is extremely difficult, especially in this area. Because among all the things that are screaming to be looked at, one more thing standing there, just one more thing screaming to be looked at.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So if you drive down El Camino, you see millions of signs, man, screaming for your attention, and you can't look at any one of them. You just sort of look at the hood of your car, and your eyes get fixed.
That's the Byzantine look you're talking about. That's a Byzantine look to it. It becomes so exaggerated that it's just a mosaic at that point of store signs and colors and pieces.
Yeah, you're right. It has that Byzantine mosaic look to it.
And where it's like a French impressionist look. It's so blurred now.
It's blurred.
There's no definition in all
No, it's blurred. It's blurred. And nothing stands out. Amongst all things that are screaming to be looked at, nothing stands out. What would stand out today? Nothing. The fucking world is ready to go to fucking war. People are screaming, he's there on an Operation Turkey Wing. He's going to eat turkey tomorrow with the folks. He's going to do this. He's, and all this kind of horse shit. So, people are looking at this shit on TV at night. They don't know if they're going to get laid off. They don't know if the gas is going to go up. There's a million things. The old lady's getting tired of him, man. He wanted to fuck the old lady last night, and she said she didn't want to fuck. Before she used to just say, "Oh, honey, I'm so tired." Now she says, "I don't want to fuck." And he said, "Well, why? Don't you like me? Do I smell?" Or maybe he went in there and washed his teeth again and flossed them and maybe powdered his balls again. But nevertheless, he realized that he wasn't wanted. And what was wrong with her? She's just fucked up too. They're all fucked up. The system's fucking them up. Too many jitters, too many crises going on, too many scares, too many. Too much, man.
Too much of everything, man.
Input is too much. You can't process it all.
Oh my God, it's phenomenal. It's just piling on top of every day. It's another fucking sledgehammer of input.
So how do people handle it? They
Man, I just got a whatchamacallit,
They don't handle it.
the workman's comp papers, the workman's comp
Yeah.
for what I'm supposed to pay now. Last year I paid $800, and now they want $1,940
Just for just yourself.
just to have it.
Just
basic.
to have the fucking thing.
That's not. I could put a crew on now, and I have to pay for that. Like
Okay.
carpenters, it'd be $19.40 an hour. $19.40, 100. $19.40 per every 100. But my basic pay would be almost $2,000. Last year it was 800, and I remember when it was 150.
Mm-hmm.
And when it went to 800, I said, Jesus, I told you about Jesus, 800. Now it's almost 2,000. It is 2,000.
Yes.
Where are you gonna get that? Even if a job came up, you couldn't take the job because you need the workman's comp. You need the $2,000 to put the money up. Where are you gonna get it at? Where are you gonna get the money to do that with?
Ouch.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Insurances. You need insurance to start the job. Where are you going to get the insurances when they want $3,500? So it knocks people that could work out of business.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole feeling is going on through the whole society now of not having any work, of losing their fucking homes. You know, of, no money in the bank. It's scary. They can't sleep at night. They go to sleep and they wake up in the middle of the night and there's a talk show going on. You're going, They're screaming. Robert Bly might come by and say, you know, you're looking for your inner father when you feel that kind of inconfidence in yourself. Then the rest of the story goes on. You know, it's Paul Harvey. So I mean, you know, you get different sounds on the radios. You'll get Paul Harvey telling you the rest of the story. You'll get some maddening scream from some poor wretch that's been so screwed up. His car broke down. He can't even get to work now. Or his car broke down and he has to go through this black district to get to his job. I mean, that's an ethical issue, isn't it? Let's say, for instance, you know, it's so fragmented, it's so frightening now that the cities themselves are divided into areas you don't dare to walk through. But sometimes you have to drive through that area, right?
Right.
You have to drive through
Yeah,
there.
this is a common problem.
But one day if your car breaks down and you got to get to work and you can't drive through there, you have to take the bus through there. You have to get on public transit and take the bus through there. And let's say that bus is going through Hunters Point. And a bunch of these blacks get on all crazed and ready to go. And they come and they I mean, this is the problems of everyday living now.
Mm-hmm.
So what is a man who lives in them kind of problems, what does he need? He doesn't need you. He doesn't need a big long recitation about why his wife ain't fucking him. He's scared to death himself.
Yeah, right.
He can't fuck her. You know, he's got the jitters so much that he can't screw her. Nobody can screw themselves. That's the real problem. They can't fuck anymore. There's no reason to fuck anymore. Their nerves are so screwed up that they just sit and talk for hours, trying to go to sleep. I can't sleep. You son of a bitch. They fight all fucking night long. You fucking whore. I saw you looking at that bastard. Now you want to fuck him. You don't fuck me, you want to fuck him. This shit's going on. I bet if you were to put listening devices to the houses after the 11 o'clock news, I bet you the conversations would sound like that. How come you don't want to screw, you son of a bitch? Huh? What, you fucking somebody else? No, I'm just tired. I've been working all day like you have. What do you mean? We used to screw before. Yeah, but that was before, not now. I mean, you'd hear conversations like this going on all over. Couldn't you? Of tired people.
Tired people.
Exasperated people. They're not interested in feminism or any other fucking kind of thing. They're really not. 99 and 9/10 of the fucking women aren't interested in it. They want social equality, but they're not interested in the feminist movement. This is what I'm saying.
You don't have time for any damn movement, do
They
they?
don't have no time for no movement at all.
Yeah.
They're fucking running for their kids. They want day centers, you know, daycare centers. Yeah, they want some practical things. So what the... Where's the issue at? Who's the issue appealing to?
It's aimed at everyone, really.
The what?
If we're saying everyone that lives in the cities and the suburbs is affected by this problem.
Because it's the whole way we live. Everything's out of balance and out of whack. You get in a car and that's fucking up your environment. I mean, it goes back to that thing of there's too many conflicting things of how you live and your actions. And now they've been all exposed to you that your actions aren't up to par. Your living is polluted. Your this is that. Your morals are weak. You know, everything's shot on you. You're an empty shell.
Yeah, the white man just has, it's a shame to say this, at least the black man has his revolution, right? At least he has something. Like, if the world was accepted to accept the Jew would probably lose his identity for sure then. That's what keeps the Jew alive is the fact that they're still
No.
anti-Semites.
Yeah.
But the white, you know, he feels guilty about everything. And the white woman
Yeah.
feels that same sense of guilt along with him. And if you're talking about the white race, or the white people in this area, and not only the white people, but a certain economic group of these people, you're addressing to them. So you could, by just going downtown on the whatchamacallit, Union Square there, determine by looking at the women going in and shopping and stuff in the windows for Christmas and what that group caters to, you know. I mean, it's that group that feels the senses of feminism and are seeking their individual rights and their bank accounts, their own lawyers and tax man.
Right, right. Yeah.
You know?
The upper middle class woman who's trying to put something together.
Yeah, that's where the arguments of feminism are. It's not really on Broadway. The argument that women, men, freedom, liberation, this, that, doesn't just stem from male attitudes. It comes about by an upheaval in the cultural developments that are taking place. Just like, I hate to make it sound like just like an organic theory of history, but there's an explosion for some reason, sometimes not apparent, in the culture itself that explodes and things happen. And like somehow or other, mankind was matriarchal up to when man discovered the fact that he was responsible for insemination and the creation of another life. You know, the impregnation of... Before, man didn't know that his whole sexual ritual was part of the procreation process. Man didn't know that. And then when it dawned on him, he realized that he was a dominant player in the activity of creation.
Right, right.
He became a dominant person in that. So the change of matriarchal to patriarchal isn't just some little fluke that took place. It was a great moment of awareness by one of the species, the male. He became aware that awe that he had of woman having babies, where did the baby come from? I mean, the guy, this magical, in primitive societies, they have, the man is excluded from the birthright that's taking place.
That's right.
They have him away from that. So that's even more mysterious, the birth. And then when they took a glimpse of it, life coming from within, between her loins. It must have shocked him when he saw that, when primitive man saw that. It must have shocked him to no end. He didn't realize that he had something to do with it. That primal need, his primal sex need, he didn't equate it with fertilization of the woman. Oh yeah, this will do. We'll smoke, and then we'll talk.
There you go. Exactly.
Hmm?
That makes sense.
Hmm.
God, what a dawning. What a fucking awareness that would be.
Yes, but when this awareness came, it seemed like throughout the whole Indo-European world, the matriarchal deities were overcome by the patriarchal deities.
All about the same time?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. The minute I'm not high, I become ordinary. Yeah, when I don't have a joint, I'm an ordinary person, man. When I get loaded, then I'm not ordinary.
We owe it to Dionysius then, I think.
That's right, it's ecstasy.
There you go.
No, it's ecstasy, man. I mean, this is what the rest of the ancient world did not recognize. Like when all the societies were matriarchal, the concept of ecstasy was all over. The concept of ecstasy isn't masculine, it's feminine. The Dionysian rites weren't conducted by men, they were conducted by women. The ecstasies were brought about by women. I mean, married women would split and go to the Dionysian rites in order to experience this ecstasy. This is why there's women that are coming down at the Rumors Cafe to listen to this poetry. They're reaching states of ecstasy.
Excellent. That's exactly what took place last night, man.
Yeah, that's what one of the girls was saying. They were they were symbolizing ecstasy by talking about lust and the look in his eyes and what did it. They were having orgasms talking about this no. I didn't want him to zipper his pants open, pull out his cock, show it to me, and try to frighten me with it. Yeah, to try to frighten me with it. She's just repeating this sex story she's visualizing in her head. She's not offended by the act. The act never probably happened. And even if it did happen, it would have been an exciting sexual experience for her, other than a frightened one. It wasn't somebody she didn't know. It was somebody she knew. The realms of possibility had to be established even at the 1%. The thought coming through her mind, I wonder how it would feel like to get laid by this guy. I mean, these parts of the stories, you know, she didn't say, she didn't allude to. She made some high schoolish attempt to conceal the.
Most people don't have the personal clarity to reveal those.
Well, they don't have the maturity, I think. They don't have the maturity. It might not be right. Things might not be that way. It's just that we want to say things are that way. So when we're examining the history of man and woman, this is the way we're saying that it is. Nobody has the market cornered on credibility. All things depend on the clarity of their explanation. If I can explain something to you because of the process of acceptance that explanation requires of itself, by the time I'm finished explaining anything, it becomes an explainable truth, right?
I followed that.
Huh?
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
By explanation, we establish truth.
Okay.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that the thing that we're explaining even exists.
That's right. As long as the explanation exists.
Isn't that right?
Wow, that's
Huh?
fantastic.
Yeah, that don't...
Reality by way of explanation.
Reality by way of explanation, exactly. This is what the modern concept of virtual reality is. This is the reality that could be created in my subterranean home that I've always advocated. This kind of reality. It's a reality that's constructed. It's a reality that's put together by parts, by the type of reality that Disney experimented with.
We're seeing a need for in modern relationships as well, a new type of construction. Like we saw again last night, that the damn communication is off. The male logic is over here, the woman's logic.
Oh, it was
is over
pitiful. It was pitiful what they were talking about. It was actually pitiful. You know what it sounded like? It sounded like these young, curious females were exploring the seamy side of the sexual fantasy. The seamy side of sexual fantasy. It's that side that has the pornographic to it, the cruel, the painful, the excitable, defiable, devilish, every fucking negative term you can think of applicable to it. This is what's exciting them. It comes from that world that women go through. They masturbate a lot, you know.
Back to the matriarchal period when the Dionysian festivals were the woman.
Oh yeah, I quote this from Dr. Ellis's works, The Psychology of Sex. Brilliant work, you know, in volumes. And a lot of these references that I make, I want to feel free to tell you that they were Dr. Ellis's findings, right?
Okay.
So whenever I say something that might sound outlandish, I'll just refer to Dr. Ellis's works and footnote it, right?
Okay.
Because his investigations of actually what has taken place and what is taking place are so profound that a person couldn't imagine them.
Uh-huh.
You know that?
Yeah.
I had never imagined some of the things that he has uncovered that people are all about, you know. I mean, he's done a fantastic study of the tumescence between male and female in the whole process of sex, starting like sex is an upgoing thing.
The tumescence is
The tumescence is an
thing it
upgoing
fills.
thing until, you know, when the penis is in the state of tumescence, then it is prepared for its entry. The hymen that the virgin has, must be penetrated with an erection that's tumescent,
Uh-huh.
because that hymen is there in order to keep out infirmed and sick males.
Excellent.
Yes, this is an
Nature's selective.
This is an investigation, you know, that
Uh-huh.
Dr. Ellis
Dr.
and
Ellis, wow.
yeah, that he had conducted with various other doctors at that time when they were developing the thought of a sexual view of man. Like the classical Greek looked at man in his sexual view. I mean, definitely when you think of Oedipus and the plays that are involved, don't you somehow
Yeah, I do.
get a perverse, erotic?
Yeah, I see.
I wonder what it would be like
Yeah.
to have fucked my mother.
I see him in bed with her, just slamming
Huh?
away
Yeah, I never
in her.
thought of that. That never occurred to me.
Is that right? I'll bet every man who knows the story did.
Well, you
Never-
can't possibly not have read that story and not have asked that question.
But she's a woman, remember? Maybe.
That's why she can't think
I
of
can't
that.
think of that.
There's a certain age in man that all things are forgiven. Like to hold vengeance, to hold the desires for retribution requires a lot of energy, you know. And you can only have these energies when you're young. When you get older, you don't have that. You just don't have the energy to hate.
Uh-huh.
That's why older people, you don't hear hate talk as much as you do with people in the middle ages or their teenagers. Yeah, hate is also a process of its own age.
It takes
you
a
know?
lot of energy, is what you're saying.
Oh, it does. Yeah, it requires a lot of energy to hate. Yeah, but the what was the issue? The female was left there, her legs open with this very, very hard engine aglow, entering, ripping, getting into her, fucking her, filling her, and then fucking knocking her up, man. These are fertile people, you know. Primitives are very fertile. These Mexicans. Somehow, like famine, you know, somehow nature knows when it's in a condition that many of its people die, it breeds a lot. You know, like if women they live in austere situations where the death rate is very high, they breed a lot. And the Mexicans bred a lot because their life expectancy wasn't great, you know, in their primitive state.
Oh, okay. Now in a modern state, though, it's an excess. Because
Yeah, in a
they're not-
modern state, yes, but they're still very high productive
Right.
because they didn't go through that long period of agricultural evolution like the European did.
Right.
See, like the more primitive they are, the more fertile they are, man. Like they can breed at 8 or 9 years old, where the Western one can't. Some process of mutation and evolution and some fucking shit, some complicated process that's taking place. We know so very little of the complicated processes that are taking place in the determinism. Mantle them. She said there's no differences, and immediately a biological argument was.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah, immediately. There wasn't even a fucking hesitation.
I don't think she recognized the point, though. I mean, I don't think she respected the argument.
Oh, she had to. No, she had to. It's not something I invented. It's something that is. Yeah, not something.
That's right.
It's not,
That's right.
it's not metaphysical, man. This is public knowledge. Everything I say is public knowledge. Everything is public knowledge. It's something you could open up a textbook and read it, see it. Things that I talk about, classical period. The only difference that I have between anybody else who's fucking talking about the classical period is that I feel that a person, in order to understand that period, has to develop the ethics of that period. And whether they seem unreal to you or not, you have to...
you have to live the feeling of the period?
In order to understand the period, yeah, sure. It makes sense, don't it? I mean, I would really say walk through a time warp machine and you get back there and you know it's not the way you thought it was in your head. You know, it's altogether different. The way you thought they sounded isn't really the way they're talking. The jokes you thought they said aren't really the jokes that they are saying. You know, you find yourself probably. It's like anticipating a place. I mean, we're really not very close on, but what makes it so important is it's so different from now, but that's where now stems from. Without that, there couldn't have been no now.
Without the classical period, we wouldn't be here.
No, absolutely not. We wouldn't be what we are. This technological, fast-moving, highly... What the Greek hadn't worked out yet was the theories of motion. That's really a relatively new thought, Theories of motion. How do you explain motion? Right, and it...
motion in relation to gravity?
Motion, sure, descending objects. Motion became the main issue of the Renaissance period. The Renaissance mathematicians, Galileo and his school, did a lot of work on motion, and his work on falling bodies, his work on extended optics, on viewing distances. These were all developments of really a relatively new, in the 14th century, right? So it's not that long ago that we became aware of the significance of motion itself. And what's happened now is, I think, because of the way communication has so involved our lives that it's capable of people from distant places to feel united over the telephone, over a fax machine.
Right.
You see, and causes now don't necessarily mean that you have to be there in persona to activate that. They can be activated electronically.
Kids last year in Tiananmen Square were faxing back and forth across the fucking globe, communicating with each other on all the moves taking place. And then the only communication line they had after the thing fell was the fax machine. It's amazing. You're right. Totally a brand new ballgame.
Yeah, it is. It is, but what makes the classics so beautiful is it doesn't make any difference where the technological ball game is at. The classic still works.
because it comes from it. All this here comes from that.
That's the foundation of everything that we have.
Yes, the foundation of everything.
At the root of. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just something for us to use, man. Yeah, we have to learn how to use that stuff. We've worked out the theoretical shit, but we have to learn how to use it. So we have to develop some sort of
Tools and methods and
yes.
ways to work with each other.
Yeah.
I'm getting a sense of what you're saying. That was another thing last night that wasn't really addressed, was how do people get along with each other? It was a lot of ideals, I think, on the way they want it to be and what they're striving for in their life, but not a lot of talk of what actually takes place. You know, I keep seeing that with people, especially the women. There's a lot of dreaming going on, a lot of fantasizing, and talking about him, that perfect guy, or the guy that was perfect and left, and he fell.
I know, fucking shit, huh?
Jesus, man.
I couldn't listen to that crap,
Yeah, I'll take
man.
some of that shit.
I couldn't listen to that too much of that bullshit. Ooh, I couldn't deal with a fucking woman that fucked with me on that level, man.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Most of the women wrote about him.
Ooh, fuck, I'd get so sick. Ooh.
But I think that's what the fucking modern woman wants and is told she
Oh,
must
it's
want.
full of fucking soap opera needs, man.
Soap opera needs.
Oh
That's
yeah,
it.
it's the depth of the soap opera thought. That's where it's at, man. It's soap opera. It's it has only a script writer's depth, you know.
Yeah, washboard tummy, and a lot of clean looks and.
See, a lot of
statements.
a lot of the emotional depth that you see is by these shallow-minded script writers. I don't mean to be derogatory toward screenwriters, but you have to be shallow in your view. Not that they're shallow in their character, they're shallow in their view.
Because
You have to have that shallowness in view in order to be able to develop a script that can be turned into visual logic.
I got you.
Right? Because the libretto, the vocal part, the words aren't really all that important in a situation, you know, that has the characters walking through it. See, the voice by itself is a rare thing. The voice has a multitude of competitive things around it, like it has car noises, it has the general polluting noises. So the word doesn't walk by itself anymore or fly by itself. The word itself, it doesn't fly. It can't. It's too much noise around it.
The spoken word.
Yeah, the spoken word. There's too many sounds around for the word to be clear.
Yeah, right.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm getting it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. The word requires the logos. It requires that kind of clarity. The logos means the word, right? And it requires that kind of clarity. But you can't have that kind of clarity in a world that's filled with so many sounds, and so many distorted sounds.
Clarity's impossible with the clutter everywhere.
Yeah, you can't hear the word resound. The word doesn't play itself out like the word that maybe Moses heard on top of the mount from God. I mean, in a clear atmosphere, in an unpolluted atmosphere, the word was sounded. I mean, it was the word of God, right? It's interesting, like the Hebrew had the written word. The written word. It was the written word. It was on tablets. It had a sacred. The word became sacred upon being written.
The object of the word itself.
Yeah. Well, you see, the classical Greek didn't have that kind of a sacredness.
So he had no sacred texts.
No, there was no sacred text. See, and that what the Greek tried to do was debunk his own mythology. You know, that's an interesting
Jesus.
that's an interesting factor in that society of classical
You
Greeks.
mean as where the Jews extolled
Oh yeah.
their own thing?
Oh sure.
The Greeks were working against it, or
Mhm.
studying it at least.
Yeah, they were debunking their mythology. That's the once they started performing their mythology on a public theater, because the classical theater is a public theater. You know, it's financed by public funds. See, the classical theater was financed by public funds.
Well, that makes sense. A product
Oh,
for everyone.
sure. It was for everybody, man. You didn't pay anything at the gate. You walked in. 17,000, 18,000 people would march up there, man, on the days of the plays. Sure. And not only that, but you think of the play, but how about thinking of where these people piss at? I mean, how do they, you had to have bathroom facilities. You just couldn't, I mean, their bladders were the same size then as it is now. And, you know damn well that they drank water and ate lunch, and they just, get up and leave. They brought their lunch, they brought water and their wine, and, and they munched and they ate and they had to evacuate,
That's an interesting detail I don't think we consider when we study.
Oh, absolutely. You have to study the in order really to get a taste of the classics. You have to study the problems that people had. And how did they solve them? I mean, they had the same problem of defecation and elimination that we do today. And how did they solve these things? I mean, how did you get 17,000 people to stay there all day, all through the night? They did. They performed under torchlights too. They just didn't perform in the daylight. I mean, people never stopped to think how long did they, since they didn't have electric lights and floodlights. I mean, when did they perform and stop at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock? No, they kept going. The same crowd was there. They kept going, man. They started in the morning and they just went around the clock.
Easy.
Oh yeah, they'd see maybe 9 tragedies, three comedies, a few satires, Sure, they see all through, man, to the next day. Devouring, listening, wanting more. Their memory is great. They knew the plays. Oh, a lot of people were performing, a lot of playwrights. We only have 3 of them, which isn't, we have 3 of them in a number of others mentioned. We have no works of their work.
Wow.
But you're talking about a society, see, that felt ecstatic.
How did all that work get lost? I don't understand that.
Well, it's time itself. The burning of the library in Alexandria, a lot of it got lost there. Various invasions. I mean, we're fortunate to have had the manuscripts of Aristotle survive. They survived in one family for 800 years. And then they were bought by Arabs, found in the Crusades. It has a strange, long history, of survival. But we could have lost that too,
Wow, what a crime that would have been.
Oh yeah, we could have lost. Think of the ones we have lost. Just the same way as we know that these playwrights really weren't, they were good, they were top raters, but they weren't the best.
Was that right?
No, they weren't the best. No. There was others that were better. How do we know that they were better since we didn't read their work? Well, they had one, we know of records of having won more, more awards. So, I mean, like somehow the crowd liked their work better, We don't know what their plays were about. But we know they were about something that, you see, like the classical plays that we have covers just about almost all the human conditions, It's pretty hard to conceive of another human condition that these plays don't talk about. This is what makes them so profound. Okay, wait. There are certain things that we forbid ourselves to think about because we came from a Judeo-Christian or Judeo-Greco thinking system into a Christian system, into a modern world Christian system, right? A technological Christian system. Whatever you say the period is in, you add on Christianity to it, and it brings you to that period of Western civilization. Western civilization. So Christianity had to take on, from the early parts, a different face for the period. Like Christianity was different in the early Roman period with in its inception, and it was different in the medieval ages, and it was different in the Renaissance period, and it was different in the scientific period, and it's different in the capitalistic period, Marxist period. So Christianity has changed quite a bit. The church is slow in changing, but Christianity is quick in changing, because as Christians change, the change of Christianity is taking place in the changing Christian. Right?
Yeah. Right.
That makes sense, don't it?
That makes sense, sure.
Or is it overly simplified?
No, that would make sense.
Modern man is scared of simplification.
No, something you were just saying led me to a thought that, as in the classics, right? The thought of the son fucking the mother and then discovering it. The horrible, horrible thoughts. I mean, these, like, at first thought, I say, oh, well, it's just the classics, right? Well, I don't have any relation to this thing. But then I think about it and I go, my God, screwing my mother, finding out later that I've been screwing my mother. Horrible. What a stain that would be.
Not today. Not today. You're just an abused child. It has no taboo today.
Maybe I'm out of step with the times then.
No, it has no taboo today, man.
Maybe that
Not
is
that
what-
you're out of step with the times. It's not you're out of step with the times. It's not. It's not an issue. It's something's already backed it up. You're a victim. You're a victim. The whole period is a period of the victim now.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah, they've examined the perpetrator.
yeah, that's right. I'd go to the doctor if I had
They've
that
examined the
problem.
perpetrator already. They've examined that. Now they're examining the victim. It's the victim's turn to be examined, to be looked at, to be counseled. You can only have democracy if you can have those that are ruled being able to talk and communicate with those who are ruling them. You can't. That's the democratic process. The majority must be able to express its views. The demos must be able to express its views to those who are ruling them, and to have some meaning. If it doesn't have any meaning, if the upper echelon, the rulers, don't hear what the populace wants, so you don't have a democracy. I mean, it's simple and it's as complex as that.
You're saying that the so-called voting power we have, is meaningless?
Well, there's so many intersections, like you hear people talking to you on TV, but you can't talk back to them. I mean, that circulation of thoughts, it's all one way. It's all coming in
It's
here.
all
I can't
the
talk to him.
I see what you're saying.
I have to maybe write him a letter, or I have to stand in line for a month, or have some inside information to get to him.
You're saying we should all be allowed to step into George's office and sit down and
In practical thought, but I mean, it would be the most ideal situation. You don't have any more a town forum where people, all interested people within the community, came and gave their thoughts. That's an interchange of a democratic process. You can. What's the use of having a democracy if it doesn't facilitate something?
the acts of a modern female 50 years ago would have been considered depraved?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. 30 years ago, like even a woman living with somebody without being married.
That's the most common of things now.
Oh yeah. But at that one time, she was shacking up with somebody. She was. You never would marry a woman that had lived with somebody. It was just. The thought of it was just too depraved. The thought of it was just so filthy. Was so. I mean, the thought of oral copulation was so filthy. I mean, sociologists says because of the women's own inherent impotency. Like there's female impotency, as well as male impotency.
I don't understand.
Well, when females have a lot of their femininity in doubt, they might use oral copulation as one of the ways of disguising their fears concerning their impotency.
Wow.
Their sexual unattractiveness.
And it winds up in the power to suck a man off.
Yeah, because it's more a mechanical activity. You really don't have to put your whole body and soul into it. I mean, in the act of sex, the body is two-thirds of the body is connected to the other body. And then with some practice, 100% of it is.
Jesus, we're talking about women as a machine, then a modern woman as a sex machine that just services with no feeling.
No, I don't think that. I think that we're probably moving in somehow or other, evolving sociologically or evolving in some form of advanced civilization where we're not. It's not required that we have that much. What should I say? Passion for each other. That finally reason has overcome human feelings. Right now, psychology advocates the reasonable control of your feelings. That's what psychology advocates.
Right.
Psychology is based on the normative. Psychology is based on the reasonable man. Psychology and law have that in common with each other. They're both advocating that reasonability is the best course. Reasonability is the road to follow.
Yes.
Right?
That's
So, I
right.
mean, psychology is really preaching, in one hand, what it's preaching, its dogma, is a very classical thought, the golden mean. Right? The golden mean.
see.
And why you're screwed up is because you've overfed your mind with something that wasn't good for you. And, we might use some Epicurean philosophy to the examination of that part of psychology. So, I mean, you see, psychology isn't all that distantly removed from the classical period in its needs for balance, pan metron ariston, the golden mean, the balance, right? But now you're reaching a period that, what is balance? There's a multitude of universe that balance themselves and somehow balance to the whole. There's a Heraclitean form of thinking that all things are in some sort of chaotic strife, but somehow or other coexist with each other to bring about some harmony out of this strife, the logos. This is becoming a thought now that makes it possible to understand what we consider the mysteries, to be able to look into the mysteries of human consciousness, the mysteries of human existence, the mysteries of the earth. We're able to look at these things now because we're not looking for a beginning. We're not looking at, like when the Greeks said there's a beginning and an end to something, it wasn't Greek thought alone that you're listening to. You're looking at a point of philosophical inquiring that is getting to reaching its zenith now. You're talking about Aristotelian thinking when you're saying that Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, right? You're talking about philosophically now, this is Aristotelian thinking. Aristotle really wasn't concerned of first causes. He was concerned about the thing had a beginning somewhere.
He said that it begun someplace because it's there.
Yeah.
And studied the thing. Okay.
To Aristotelian scholars, we don't scratch the surface of the argument, and I admit we don't. Well, it doesn't. I'm not intending to get into the Aristotelian arguments as to beginnings and where Aristotle and the Peripatics thought beginnings began at. It's enough to merely say that what we're looking at mostly is a form of thinking that's at the point where philosophy is coming to an end anyway. Because his student, minor student, he tutored. He wasn't a student, because a student in that period of time meant almost like a disciple, that they stayed, they lived with, they studied with, until they finally got every part of that philosophy that the guy had to offer. They sucked the guy dry.
Mm-hmm.
And it took Aristotle about 20 years to suck Plato dry, to find out that Plato was dealing with something that you could never really make any categories that had any meaningful attachments to anything, because they were just dealing with abstractions too much, you know. So Aristotle makes it possible now that categories are established, things become more concrete in his world. Has nothing against the ideal itself. It's just that he finds that it's more practical to work with the things at hand.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Getting on to business.
Yeah, that's his Macedonian upbringing. He's a Macedonian, the same as his student was, Alexander the Great. And see, with the period of Alexander the Great starts the Hellenistic period. It's impossible really historically to lay the period out as this begins here and this ends here. But that's why I'm saying by the time Aristotle came on the scene, Greek philosophy had already lost its impetus.
I see.
You know, it had reached the. It was inescapable that it all got commingled with sophistry. Pretty soon, even the Platonic schools started sounding sophistic. They started preaching, and it finally culminated in the period of absolute decay, the Neoplatonistic period, which Plotinus and Dionysius and Porphyrius, these people represent. Ammonius, they represent this period. So you're finding a period that's already sterile. It reached a state of sterility. They're annotating things. They're getting into arguments that doesn't have any real daring to it anymore. You know, they're establishing rules of arguments. Philosophy's over with. Scientist is the priest. He wears the white smock. He appears on the TV. He says that it's better to take this pill as opposed to that pill.
That's right. He is the high priest.
He's the high priest. Yeah, he's the guy who tells you that if you drink more than 4 cups of coffee, you'll have warts on your dick. No, it's not. It's not funny because people buy into this. They tell you what you should eat and shouldn't eat. They said that these apples had pollutants on them, and the whole town starved to death because nobody bought any apples from them. It was just bullshit. They said that Chilean grapes had arsenic on them, and all the grapes from Chile just rotted down on the docks. And there wasn't a goddamn stitch of arsenic on them. I mean, it's a way of destroying a man's market. I mean, people just move like this at the call of the clarion. They scatter. They scatter at the clarion. So they know which horn to blow. Like the keepers of the gate at the ancient Babylonian walls, they had different horns so they could tell which gate they were on.
Huh.
And when they sounded, they knew that everybody rushed at that gate because there was an attack going to be had, that something was going on. Bells, bell towers, the ringing of, the sounding of, formation, calling people together, the making of, how do you sound things and bring people together? What bell do we ring that brings people together? See, this is one time that we can't be bothered by race, because all races have the same fucking problems with women. It's a universal problem. The only guide that I personally have for what I see that I'm doing, or which way I'm viewing, I find a certain humor to it all. A lot of people used to say that it had a certain form of natural cynicism to my thoughts, but it's not so. I see things in a funny way, but it's just that my humor doesn't sound like it's funny. It sounds like it's disturbed. But that's the only guide that I have, is that which I find that pricks up my attention, right? Now the thing is that what pricks my attention is 90% of everybody else is the same thing. I'm not all that jaded, that I can't see things. Most people aren't jaded. I think one of the biggest problems we're having today is it's difficult to identify a woman as to what she's about. What is she for? I definitely don't want her to be the mother of my children anymore. I don't want her to be the mother of anything. I don't want any children. She's a woman. She's a person. She's introduced herself to me as a person also. Something that's sterile.
She's made that distinction.
Yeah, she made that distinction that she was a person. I mean, what do I see a woman as? Definitely not for any intimate comfort.
Well, she has the right to be her own person now, doesn't she?
She definitely is her own person. What that really means is that she doesn't feel that anybody has any proprietary rights on her. That's all she considers. That's all she means by person. The whole feminist revolution has been against property. The feminist revolution is a capitalistic outgrowth. It's not something that naturally just evolved. It's the way capitalism moved the masses about, the lower classes. How it worked its way into the middle class. How the middle class woman being matter of fact, in the Industrial Revolution, the middle class woman was like a hen that's just been fed to lay a few eggs now and then. She did no work at all. In fact, it was a mark of distinction to have your wife fat and corsets, whalebone corsets, just lounging about the house eating chocolates and bonbons. This is what the woman was, and this is the thing that the the married women of today refer themselves as prostitutes. As prostitutes, that they have been working for years in the home as a homemaker, when in reality they are nothing more than just prostitutes who have sold themselves for bed and breakfast, right? Yeah, that's right. So you see, the feminist movement itself is sort of a bogus term. It really doesn't represent the lower class women. It just merely represents the attitudes of the middle class woman, the college educated, the girl who's career minded, the girl who wants to bounce out. The lower classes are seeking for more practical things like child care centers. They want practical things. They want nurseries. They want the doctors for their children. They want these things. It's
these feminists that are spouting this bogus garbage come from the middle class, educated women who've gotten a hold of concepts developed by men for men, and they've put it to work now to express concepts that they consider to be women's concepts.
Wait. You mean that the feminists are using all male concepts? I thought they had.
All male arguments, all the arguments that they're using are arguments that
So in
that
effect,
men had developed, like the psychological arguments. Like Freud's arguments was a male created view of what a woman was thinking and feeling.
so that the woman is
So
actually.
if a woman goes to retort, if a woman goes to attack the argument, she has to argue it on the same form of equality. You have to argue it with the same language that the statement was delivered in. So I mean, they're arguing it out psychologically. Now they're using a male argument to
Okay.
argue a male
Okay.
concept of them. So it's inescapable. It's inescapable that the feminist argument is. It led to. I wouldn't say it led to absurdity, because had it led to absurdity, it would have had some value to it. But it led right into a cul-de-sac, and now they're bunched up in that cul-de-sac, and there's odors emanating from it. There's intellectual, academic.
Surely the feminist movement produced some fruits.
Well, it
such as-
produced bank accounts for a lot of these women. It just fattened them up. A lot of this stuff, the women don't, not even they vote. They don't collectively vote together. I mean, it isn't like there's a big mass of women across the country that have just, thrown scoundrels out of office.
Well, it sounds like you're
I
saying.
mean, the politicians themselves aren't really that scared of the women's vote. If the women's vote had anything to do with it, they would have put in, Feinstein as governor of California. The women's vote is, they got the women along with the men don't vote. It's not that the women as general don't vote because they don't have the ability to vote or to make choices. That's not the point that I'm raising. The point that I'm raising is that they along with everybody else don't vote. So it's not really, you're not really worried about the women's vote. They aren't. It's not like they all bounce up one morning and they all go vote as women. For one issue.
So really, then the feminist movement is just another political
The
action committee.
feminist movement I think, like everything else, there's always that moment of the Reaganites had the window of opportunity. It's something that people realize is it's an opportunity to say something, to have a platform, to be seen, to make a few bucks. It all goes together. It's not, it's the laws of ambition that prevail here as to what the world is viewed as, or to how history is compounded. Right? Yeah. So I don't see the feminist movement. I think it's serious now. It's serious as to the association that women have with men. The men don't understand what it is that women are needing or wanting, or they seem to want freedom, but yet they don't have any personal responsibility. I hate to say this, but throughout the world that I've traveled in, I feel that the American woman is the most, how should I say, I don't want to use the word flake, it's not the word I'm looking for, but I think that women...
Irresponsible, is that what you're saying?
I don't think that, no, it's not an irresponsibility either, it's some kind of unreality, like they're posturing all the time, like they're emphasizing words maybe that don't need emphasis, gesticulating themselves. The same thing that you see in these soap operas, these exaggerated theatrical movements, which really are hollow. They're theatrical movements without any real understanding of the script itself, as to the cultural script. And of course, you're dealing with, you're not dealing so much with feminists. You're dealing with a whole generation of male and females. The male is still more cautious. The male is more cautious in allowing another male to come into bed in his room with him and his wife.
Jesus. I
Yeah,
couldn't.
he's more cautious. It's
Oh,
not so much that he's not
absolutely.
liberal. The male might be liberal enough, but he's more cautious because two males together, it's problematic. They could be a flare up. Two males, especially if they're strangers to each other, there might be a flare up. So the woman tries to see the woman in that sense. Is betraying two people. She betrays the lover by having affairs at night with her husband, and betrays the husband by having affairs with. So she betrays them both. And her whole attitude is one of pleasure from betrayal.
Yeah, so somehow she seems to get off on that, doesn't she?
Well, I think it's a very, like the classical Greeks had that concept of epiharokakia. And that had also with it a certain feeling that went along with it.
An enjoyment of
Yeah,
the
that's
pain
right.
that she
Karo,
was
right.
inflicting.
It's an enjoyment of inflicting pain on somebody.
So you mentioned the American woman is detached and theatrical. I've seen it myself. They toy, they play, they primp, they pose constantly. They're constantly on. You know, always.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. They well, there's a billion-dollar industry with their cosmetics. For what reasons they wear cosmetics is difficult really to define. Whether it's some natural instinct in women, because they've known that women have been wearing cosmetics recorded 3000 BC.
But isn't that to manipulate the male?
Now that's the issue. I mean, could we say that that the woman wears makeup in order to attract the male? That's one question that we could raise and possibly argue it. From.
But the woman says she just wants to feel beautiful, and feels good feeling dressed up, and isn't
I mean,
interested.
is it up to them? Even to that time, was it used for a sexual attraction? Were they actually painted to attract the male, to emphasize their sexuality? I mean, has man done that? Has always done that for that reason? Is there something in us that attracts certain patterns and certain things, certain shapes? Is there certain things that to the male eye is beauty? Maybe the female shape. He seems to have always had the female nude, even in the caves, where the cave paintings of Almera, they have nude women. They found, worshiping the nude woman, the pregnant woman,
The curves, the roundness,
the
the
curves, the
softness,
shapes of the
shapes.
shapes. That's right,
the
the
shape
shape.
of the woman.
So it seems that men, as a species, as a gender, is attracted by that which women possesses naturally. He's attracted by that. See what women hold. Now there are certain enchantments that take place in a culture as to what the viewer now sees also as beauty. So like the Arabian women, because their faces are covered, have really learned to decorate their eyes. And they, like the eye movements that an Arabian woman could give you, could actually send you reeling, man. Could actually send you spinning. You've never been looked at by more sensual eyes than the eyes of a woman from the Arabic nations. Oh.
No, I can't say I have.
Well, you know why? Because the face has been covered by a veil. And the only thing that was left to talk with to the suitor, to the man she was going to be in love with, was with her eyes, man. So she had developed this whole, like winking at a woman is very suggestive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or a woman, is it still that way?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you go to a bar and you wink at a woman. You smile and wink. She winks back.
Yeah, you see, there's certain things that allow for this kind of natural attractiveness to take place.
Mm-hmm.
But see, when it's involved with theorems, with postulates, with laws, with this, with that, that starts to get lost. and the woman is looked at from the view of merely a sexual object, not so much a scintillating one. Like when I said the Arabian women's eyes, it's not fucking that you're thinking about, man, when she's doing that with her eyes. She's working on a higher abstract level, you know.
Uh-huh. You're right, that it goes beyond the
Her
sexual.
eyes are symbolizing things. It's not her leg or her calf or something sexually beautiful about her. It's something that is attractive. And it's not just sexual. You know, it's male, female.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
I think I see what you're saying. There's something that is just makes us distinctly male and makes us distinctly female that attracts us to her. Like when I see her, that curve, that breast, the bottom, the inside of her leg.
Yeah, like these fireflies, man, that attract each other. Sometimes a fucking quarter of a mile away. They attract each other. That fucking light goes on, man, and that male comes. I mean, these are things that nature has, somehow the whole thing has developed.
Mm-hmm.
If one can use the term even nature, but this is something that is developed in order to make all things exist.
Yeah, but isn't it wrong today to admire a woman for her natural beauty? I mean, if you come up to a woman and say, "My God, your curves are just, I've got a hard cock because I'm looking at you, and you're arousing me to amazing levels of poetry," you can get nailed for that.
I don't know. I think it might be the opposite even. I don't think they would even respond to it. I don't even think they would respond to it. It doesn't drop as anything in their ears. It's just that you came off some TV screen. You know?
Another line trying to get in her pants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just another line. Another stack of shit coming her way. She just shuts you off, man. Yeah, that's what's going on. No one knows today how to get into that. Everybody thinks like the women want people with ripply stomachs. That the women are standing in line for the guys with the ripply stomachs.
That's what you see on the TV and in all the advertisements.
Yeah.
You only see that beautiful girl with no fat on her body and him with the rippling biceps. You know.
So they're all running to these gymnasiums to look like that because that's just one more reason why they don't want you. Impotency, man, is on the rise in this country. You know that? Because as they demand more athletic sex, when you go into periods of recreational sex, like in the Roman period, they made the observation that Rome went from procreation to recreation. You know? I mean, that's the observation they made to describe their period. And that's what's happened here. It's gone from procreation to recreation.
Definitely, well, isn't that the fruit of the so-called feminist movement? How though is the modern man to deal with his woman, his wife or lover?
Yeah, that's the confusion you're seeing. That's what's confused now. Seriously, that's what's confusing. You don't know how to deal with the woman.
I have no idea, man, because she's, like it's been stated, she's gonna at some point maybe get tired of me. Maybe I'll get fat, go split. But I love her. Or I want to stay with her. I'm deluded enough to want to stay with her. Or in love enough to want to stay with her. I don't know, but how do I do that? Do I cut it off and bring her lovers before she goes out? Men that I approve of. You know, I mean, it's crazy because it feels unnatural. I mean, monogamy, a man and a woman, one at a time, feels right. Anything other than that is absurd. It feels painful. Yet
Yeah, it is. But what you have to accept or learn to develop is that the pain itself might be a sense of its own beauty. There might be a sense of beauty that emanates. Modern man has to find his sense of beauty differently. from the way man in the past found his beauty. Man in the present or in the future has to find another way to have emotional security.
Remember, you're saying enjoying the pain?
Well, there's two avenues open to us. One is to leave it there. Another one is to participate in it somehow.